The HOA president pounded on my door, accusing my 7-year-old daughter of stealing her priceless ruby locket, then threatened to call the cops. But the real thief? She'd find it in her own house, right after I dragged her into court. Where are you watching from? Drop your country below. It was a crisp Monday morning when I heard the knock, sharp, insistent. I opened the door to find Norma Jacobs, our self-appointed HOA sheriff, looking like she'd slept in a vat of drama. Before I could say hello, she snarled, "I knew you were many things, but I never suspected you'd raise thieves." My jaw dropped. "Excuse me?" I asked, blinking. "Where is my great-grandmother's ruby locket?" she barked, her voice dripping contempt. I swung my brain back to last Saturday's HOA block party. Yes, my daughter Lily and I had reluctantly gone. The only theft I witnessed was Norma swooping in to snatch the last tray of mini quiches. She flared her nostrils. "That locket's been in my family for 4 generations, and I won't let you lowlifes strip me of it." At that moment, my patience snapped. I could handle her nitpicky lawn height flyers and uninvited home improvement advice, but accusing my 7-year-old of theft? Unforgivable. "Are you really accusing my daughter of stealing your jewelry?" I managed, voice trembling with anger. Norma leaned in, her perfume assaulting my senses. "If I don't have it back in 4 hours, I'm calling the police." I laughed, nervous, incredulous laughter. "Lady, check under your stack of HOA violation notices first." Without another word, she stomped off, heels clicking like a ticking time bomb. I stood open-mouthed, wondering if I'd just been punked. Inside, Lily peeked around the corner, eyes wide. "Dad, why was Mrs. Jacobs yelling?" I scooped her up. "Some people wake up wanting to blame everyone else for their problems," I soothed, masking my own boiling fury. Later, I stepped outside to cool off and spotted nosy neighbors Rick and Tina pretending to check their mailboxes. Perfect. Norma's theatrics had already spread. I shot them a half smile and called out, "Don't worry, Lily didn't take a thing." They offered that awkward laugh that said they'd already picked a side. As I paced, recollecting Saturday's party, loud music, cheap punch, HOA gossip swirling, I knew this wasn't over. Norma had poked the bear, and soon she'd learn what happens when you mess with a father and his daughter. 4 hours later, the whine of a police cruiser shattered my nerves. 2 officers approached our front porch. One held a notepad. "Mr. Summers, we need to ask you and your daughter about a missing heirloom," he said, eyes flicking to Lily, who clutched my leg. My heart pounded, but I kept my voice steady. "Of course, we have nothing to hide." Just then, Norma's daughter, Emma, came tearing down the street waving something red and gold. "Mom, we found it!" she yelled. All eyes turned as Emma triumphantly held up the ruby locket it had slipped behind Norma's own side table. I couldn't help but laugh, a genuine booming laugh. The officers looked unimpressed. Norma's face went the color of old wine. "Oh, my mistake?" she mumbled. "Your mistake?" I echoed. "You just accused a 7-year-old of felony theft." The lead officer sighed and wrote Norma a citation for filing a false police report. But I knew the real battle was just beginning. Norma thought a half-hearted apology and a measly ticket would make this blow over. She was dead wrong. By evening, I'd called my lawyer, Evan. "We're going nuclear," he declared. Within 24 hours, Norma was served with a subpoena, charges of harassment, defamation of a minor, trespassing, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The neighborhood buzzed. Even Norma's inner circle kept their distance. No one wanted to be tied to the woman who accused a child over a piece of jewelry she lost in her own home. On trial day, Evan demolished her testimony. "Evan," pointing at Norma, "you publicly humiliated a child without evidence? Why? I thought they seemed suspicious." The judge's gavel hovered like a guillotine. We watched Norma crumble under cross-examination. Every neighbor who'd been fined or bullied by her came forward with stories of petty tyranny. Yardstick inspections at midnight, fines for excessive holiday spirit, and threats over fence paint colors. By afternoon, the verdict was in. Norma was ordered to pay $100,000 in damages, every penny earmarked for Lily's counseling and our family's legal costs, and complete 60 days of community service in her signature orange vest. As she left the courtroom, head bowed, I realized this was more than revenge. It was justice. The HOA drama queen had finally met her match. In the weeks that followed, Norma's reign of terror became neighborhood lore. I watched from my porch as she stooped to pick up litter in her orange vest. HOA's own C- newsletter ran it under Community Hero. The irony was delicious. The HOA boards scrambled to distance themselves, hastily rewriting bylaws to forbid unauthorized citizen policing and installing body cams at official inspections. Meanwhile, I took a different path, rebuilding trust. I spearheaded a block party to raise funds for Lily's therapy, bringing everyone together for barbecues, kids' games, and a lighthearted Jeopardy HOA edition. Neighbors laughed about past absurdities, like lawn height snitch lines and the Great Gazebo debacle, now as shared memories rather than sources of fear. Rick and Tina, once Norma's enforcers, approached me with sheepish smiles. "We're sorry for going along," Tina admitted. I nodded. "It takes courage to stand up," I said. Even Emma, Norma's daughter, knocked on my door with a bouquet of wildflowers. "I'm sorry for all the drama," she whispered. Lily beamed and invited her in for lemonade. As for Norma, she quietly sold her house within 6 months, moving to a gated community where I've heard they measure every blade of grass daily. Good luck, I thought. My wife, Sarah, and I converted our driveway notice board into a community message center, lost and found, bake sale flyers, and an open invitation to OA, speak up, but kindly. One morning, as the sun rose over our street, Lily spotted a sparkly object on our doorstep. It was a tiny silver heart. Norma's locket had reappeared, this time as a peace offering. No note, just a delicate reminder that grudges can fade. What would you have done if Karen Jacobs targeted your child? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more epic HOA showdowns, because in suburbia, the fiercest battles happen over the littlest things.